maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Gotta start on the right foot. Hello, everyone. Welcome to EETF 61. I hope you guys are doing great. So tonight we're gonna do just some quick and quirky questions with a few of the usual suspects. Tonight we have Woody Meacham. How are you, sir?
Hey, Patrick, what's happening?
Same old crap, trying to survive the winter,
Yep.
Welcome back. We also have Hector Contreras. How are you, sir?
I am good. How are you?
Same old crap, trying to survive the winter. All right. Welcome back. And we also have Nick Bamback. How are you?
I'm good, Patrick. I'm not going to ask how you're doing because you already told us twice. And the third time you might,
He might actually tell the truth.
Yes. Yes. And, things haven't been changing that fast here anyway. So, I'm good compared to 20 seconds ago. So, welcome back.
Thank you.
So, the questions we have tonight, we're going to start with Woody and then Hector and then Nick. We have 3 of them and maybe a few more. It will depend on, the inspiration of the moment. First question would be, what is something unbelievable that you did or saw, but no one was around to witness it? I know that, Woody, you had some problems finding an answer for that one.
Yeah, the best one I've got is this one time I was walking in the woods. It was kind of a cool fallish day. I was walking and this tree fell. There was no sound.
Whoa.
Sorry, that's the best thing I could come up with, and I apologize for that for everyone.
You earned that.
Yeah, you had one job.
I'll take it. But no, it's really difficult to think of something like that. It was that you sent us that question a few days ago, and I talked to my wife about it and everything. I just couldn't, I'm always around people.
Okay.
Oh, you're a people person.
I'm a people person, right?
Well, actually, I am not. And I had to cheat. Like, I have 2 mediocre answers for that one. And
you should have given me one. I could have used that.
Yeah. Yes. And actually, in both cases, another person is involved. So, I had to bend the rules on my own question. So, it's a failure, abject failure, but that's okay.
I will yield my time to the congressman from Massachusetts.
Thank you. Mr. Contreras, what do you have?
You know what? I had one. I was going to give you like a mediocre one, but then when we were talking before recording, Nick reminded me of going to see movies, and I was thinking about my hometown. That's Boston, Massachusetts. Not really hometown, but Central Mass. But I used to frequent Boston as a younger person, and when I I was thinking about the time that I saw the Blair Witch Project. Before it got a big release, it was only showing in a very limited amount of theaters. I remember hearing from someone else, I'm hearing all this good stuff about this Blair Witch movie. I'm going to go check it out. So I went to go check it out, and we were both supposed to go. He bailed, so I ended up just going solo. And when the movie got out, I just remember thinking, I think I just watched a snuff film. I'm not sure that this is legal to put on a theater screen. And I remember leaving the theater just creeped out, just really legitimately creeped out. And I'm leaving Boston. I'm trying to find the highway. In this year, when it came out, there was no GPS. I didn't have a Garmin, but I think I was just using an old map. And I remember at one point looking at the map, driving around, just getting completely lost, trying to find the highway. And I ended up in a quiet, unlit residential area. And that's when my car ran out of gas.
Jesus.
And so I'm in like probably a cul-de-sac of some there's probably a very nice street somewhere, but I'm not on it. I'm on a very, very scary house. Nothing's lit. I'm in pitch blackness, and I can see the light of a gas station probably a quarter of a mile away. But the only way to get to it that I can see is taking a straight shot down a nice inclined hill through a large area of woods. Now, keep in mind, I just saw what I thought was the scariest woods movie up to this point.
Okay.
And I have to trudge through a nice quarter mile of woods to get to a gas station because I cannot move my car. There's no there's no cell phone, no nothing. So I just remember running in my head. I don't know if I did it out loud, but just screaming my head off and then just running downhill at like 90 miles an hour and then getting to the gas station and then getting a can of gas. And then I wasn't even going to do the uphill. I was like, I had to ask to see if there was a shorter way. I eventually found a nice roundabout way to get there. I just remember just being completely traumatized, just freaked out, didn't want to move. But I literally sat in the entrance of the woods and being like, I'm not doing this. This is not going to happen. But I managed to get there, managed to refill my car, and then vowed to never, ever set foot in Boston, which I didn't last very long. But yeah, to this day, I will never leave my car without at least a quarter tank of gas.
Wow. Do you know what I thought you were going to say? I thought you were going to, get out of the car and push the car and
Down
get
the
back
hill?
in, go on neutral and go down the hill.
Yeah, I'm not crazy. I really did push it at that point. Yeah. I mean, I'm not, if I only had like Kramer, Cosmo Kramer type to get the car, keep going all the way. No. Oh, yeah. I completely had forgotten that memory until, we were talking about Boston and how that everything is so sweet. And then I got to that one time. Yeah.
Jesus.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. That's what we are here for. We are here to traumatize people. Glad I could help. All right. So thank you, Hector. Nick, what do you have?
So something that listeners may not know about me is that I played sports in high school. And one of the sports I played was bowling. And I was a good bowler. I was so good. And there was a team in my high school league that we were actually the state champions in my senior year of high school. So one time we had practice at one of the local bowling alleys and I bowled by myself and there really wasn't anyone else at that time of day after practice. And I did a bowling a near perfect game.
Wow.
Nice.
I got all strikes and then it was the final one and I got a 296.
Jesus.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I have like a nice curve. The way I throw it, it's very unique. I mean, I never really seen anyone bowl quite like me because I always wear one of those wrist. I'm probably butchering the term.
Like the people who got like a carpal tunnel, like a wrist brace almost?
Yeah, like it holds and supports your wrist so it stays in place because with the way I like throw the ball, it kind of like supports it. But I bowled a near perfect game, got 296, and no one was there to witness it. And I made them print out the thing so everyone can at least say, okay, at least he did bowl a 296. So
you got proof at least.
That's awesome.
Well, I don't have it anymore because,
Okay, well, you did at some point.
At some point.
All right. Okay, so I was half expecting, well, not half expecting, but maybe you had maybe your special move was to dislocate your wrist before every shot.
He didn't let go of the ball. He just like,
like the Big Lebowski. Just go down the lane.
Yeah, just go down the lane.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Okay, so I can tell you my two mediocre ones quickly. That must have been like in 5th grade, maybe, or 4th grade. It was in the winter with a friend from school. We were, having a snowball fight, and our two snowballs collided in midair and vaporized.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
I'm sorry. That's cool. That's not me. That's cool.
Okay, well,
All right.
that never happened before or since. So, that's that. But there was another person involved, as I mentioned. So, it's kind of cheating here. The second one would be, it was May 2019 in Copenhagen. I was there for a day trip on a weekday. So I was walking, through, the city in like the parliament building of some sort. It was like a big open space. 10 or 11 in the morning on a weekday. There were two guards one guard actually guarding some entrance of some sort. And I don't know how strict the rules are in Denmark regarding that, but like the guards in Buckingham Palace, they are stone-faced no matter what. And I was like, yeah, fuck, why not? And I just waved to the guy and said hi. Hi in Danish is hi, like hi in English, same, okay? And I swear the guard, he nodded.
Oh,
yeah, he nodded hi, like a quick nod. And and then for a few seconds, I was like Leonardo pointing at the TV and looking around. Any of you saw that? No, fuck. and there was no one around. It was like a 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. So I was like the only people, traveling around, I guess, that day. And yeah, guard nodded at me, and no one else but me saw that. So. Yeah, that's my other mediocre answer.
Yeah, that one's a little more mediocre. But
That guy, like, just woke up. He's just not used to. He's thinking about his old job when he was, pumping gas, and he's like, everyone, hey, how you doing? You get a little nod. Yeah. You say hello. He's all of a sudden triggered back, and he was like, oh yeah, give me a little nod. Hey, yeah.
I'm guessing people are more easygoing in Denmark than in, the UK anyway. So maybe that for him, that was not, no big deal. Or maybe he saw that there was no one around and maybe he could get away with,
right,
saying hi to a traveler. I don't know.
They'll never believe him anyway.
Spin it this way. You're lucky you didn't get your ass kicked because he probably could. He's like, no one's around here. Yeah, you say hello to me. I gotta get the butt of my rifle.
Yeah. He could have shot my ass dead for sure. Yeah, he could have done that. That's true. All right. So, okay. So let's move on to the second question. What was the longest you've waited in line for anything? So, Woody, let's start with you.
All right. This one is actually easy to come up with because it's got to tie into this podcast. So,
okay.
Back pre-COVID, or no, it was during COVID, actually. But before that, the Chicago White Sox would do what was called a garage sale. And so what they did is they would sell off game-worn jerseys and bats and gear and signed baseballs from the players and scorecards and like extras of the giveaways that they didn't give away because nobody goes to White Sox games.
World Series rings. Oh, wait.
Yeah, hey, hold on. We got one.
Sorry. Couldn't resist.
And so it was always super fun. I would go just because it was a way you could get like a game quality jersey, but for like $50, as opposed to paying like several hundreds of dollars for it. And one year my daughter and I had gone and we got matching ones, like black ones. And so it was something I would go to, but we would always show up. We would always go either late and they'd be out of all the cool stuff, or you'd go and there'd be a huge line. And so in 2021, because it was COVID, I was like, oh, maybe the line won't be that bad. And it's always on a Saturday. And so for some reason, I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning and it doesn't open till 10. And I'm like, well, I don't have anything else to do. I may as well just go down and maybe I'll be like second in line, because nobody else is as smart as I am. So I drive down to the park and I go there and I'm like 40th in line at 6 a.m. And that's actually, I remember listening to the Tom Nuremberg episode of EETF.
Nice.
So that's where I've always got that image ingrained in my head now of working my way in this. So that was a 4-hour wait. So I don't know how long it is, but no bathroom break, no nothing. I purposely didn't drink anything and waited in. And I don't even remember what I bought, but I do remember very distinctly listening to the story of the boulder going over Tom's head and stuff like that, and just waiting in that line with everybody. So
Jesus.
4 hours, that's what I've got.
And you peed battery acid once you got back home.
Exactly, yeah.
Jesus. All right. Thanks, Woody.
All right.
Okay, so Hector, what about you?
Yeah, this one, actually, I'm with Woody. As soon as I saw the question, I knew right away. And I honestly cannot remember if I had mentioned this on the first podcast that you and I did, Patrick, but I'll repeat it just in case. Thinking about it now, everything is always movie related. So the longest line was for a movie called Home Alone. I didn't particularly, wasn't like, I have to go see this movie. I went with my sister and some friends of hers. But originally it started off, it was just me and her waiting in line. Now, back when movies were just in small theaters, we had a 3 cinema screen, which was actually generally in the area, there was probably maybe 3 theaters, and that's like all of Worcester County. And they all each had 3 screens. One had 2. So if you wanted to see a movie and the entire town wanted to go see the movie, you're getting in line to go see that movie. Same thing for concerts, right? If you want to go see Van Halen, you're going to get in line, and the line's going to wrap around the entire auditorium. But for this movie, this has never happened before, where they actually had the line extend past the parking lot and into several blocks.
Jesus.
So at that point, you're really just waiting in line to go see the movie, a week later or 2 weeks later. You're just getting in line for shows just to buy tickets. I don't know why they couldn't do this over a phone, but they just couldn't. So everything had to be done through the box office.
They couldn't be bothered.
Yeah,
most likely.
Not at all. Not at all. So I think we waited. We probably got there. It's hard to remember that far back, but I'm going to say if we got there at 10:30 in the morning, we probably didn't leave till about 3 or 4 o'clock.
Holy shit.
Just to get a ticket for a week later.
Wow.
And look, everyone's got a different opinion about the movie. I don't even have an opinion about a movie that's a good opinion, because all I can think about is that memory of having to wait in line. Now, here's where things really took it downhill. After we go to finally show up for our screening a week later, it's her friends, and me. She had to bring her kid brother. And apparently the theater didn't know how to manage the fire escapes because they overbooked the theater. And there was people, everybody had a seat except for me. So they're all sitting closer to the emergency exit. And they said that I would have to sit on the edge. So I would have to sit on there was no stairs. It was just flat level area right beside the emergency exit. And there's a guy coming around. He's got his little flashlight, comes around, and he sees me. He just aims the flashlight right at me. He says, "Oh, buddy, you can't sit there." I'm like, "Well, I don't have anywhere to sit." He's like, "Well, let me see your ticket." So his ticket. He's like, "Oh, sorry. It's our fault. We overbooked it, but you're going to have to leave."
Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, I can't leave. I'm here with a group. And they're like, "Well, who'd you come with?" And he points it all in, and my sister, her friends. And so he's like, "Well, either you got to leave or you sit in your sister's lap." And all her friends
Kinky.
start laughing their fucking heads off at the situation. She's falling and slumping into her seat. I think she shriveled up into a plant and died. And at this point, I'm just like, "No, I'm leaving. You got my attention." My sister's like, "Go, just go." And I'm like, and she wants to stay with her friends. I'm like, "That's fine. I'm out of here." So I ended up leaving. I probably only watched the first 30 minutes of the movie, and then went across the street to Strawberries Records and Tapes and just stayed there for 2 hours until the movie was done. And I've never had a good opinion about the movie since.
Why?
Because of that experience.
I don't blame you.
So everyone my age and younger, whatever, is, "Oh, that movie's great. Can you hate that movie?" Fuck that movie.
That's the spirit. Okay, so for some maximum chaos tonight, we have another guest who just barged in on my invite. We have Kyle Hildreth. How are you, sir?
Hey, Patrick. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
What I'm going to do is we are doing 3 unrelated questions. So we are at question 2 right now. So I'll ask you question number 1, and I'll give you a few minutes to think about it.
Poor Kyle's put on the spot.
Yeah. Gotta say. And then I'll get back to you. Sounds good?
Okay.
All right. Okay, so the question was, what is something unbelievable that you did or saw, but no one was around to witness it?
Oh, Jesus. Oh. This is like your quick and quirky questions, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
New edition.
Okay.
Quicker.
Yeah, quicker and quirkier. I'll give you a few minutes to think about it. And in the meantime, I'll get to Nick for question 2. And then I'll give question 2 to you.
Sounds good.
Okay, so Nick, what do you have for question 2? What was the longest you've waited in line for anything?
Something that I really loved in my childhood was Jurassic Park. That was one of my favorite movies. And my parents took me in the late 90s to Universal Studios. And I remember waited in line, I think it was at least 2 hours. It might have been 3 hours for the Jurassic Park River Adventure ride, which was at one point the world's biggest water like attraction or ride. And it was so cool. And it terrified me because the dinosaurs, I love them, but they were scary when I was 10 at the time. And I got super wet and I had a great time. And I went with my dad on that ride. And yeah, it was so great. And I remember waiting for what seemed like forever for a kid, but I think it was probably 2 or 3 hours, and we got like a picture at the end, and that you had to pay for if you wanted it, and I loved it.
Nice.
And those dinosaurs still scare me to this day. I don't know why, but I still keep going back to them. So you know,
you can't quit them.
I can't get rid of the dinosaurs.
All right. For me, it would be, I think, 3.5 hours ish, and it would be back to 2014. It was May 2014 in Berlin. I was just arriving from Madrid, and I learned that there was an exhibition on David Bowie that was ending the next day. So I arrived at my, Airbnb on whatever in, mid-afternoon or something. And then I stopped everything for the next morning. Groceries can wait. Everything else can wait. I got my ass to the museum. And I guess they didn't do a pre-sale or something. It was everything at the door and you couldn't book your ticket in advance. And you had to wait. And I waited outside the building for 3.5 hours for the last day of the David Bowie exhibition. And it was absolutely worth it. It was awesome. So yeah, that's my answer. Carl, do you have anything for number one?
No, there's one thing I can only think of, and I can't remember it, and it happened recently.
Okay. In that case, can you answer question number 2? What was the longest?
Ooh, longest I've waited. Now, this is for any, like a ride or a movie or...
Could be anything at all.
Longest I've waited. I never stayed outside for tickets, except for one Billy Joel tickets. I've stayed outside of Macy's for like an hour or 2.
Still too long if you ask me.
Yeah. No.
Oh.
Sorry.
I'm not good at this tonight, I don't think. I can't think of...
Oh, that's okay. I mean...
yeah, we had like 4 days or 5 days to think of this, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
We really put you in the spot.
son of a...
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to be this good, Kyle, to think
Next
on the spot.
weekend. It is.
No, yeah, I know that, zero notice or anything.
No, I'm just happy to be here and to bring the show down to a screeching halt. This is great. I'll keep on thinking, though.
Okay, good. No problem. All right. So then, in that case, I will add to your misery and ask question number 3.
Please.
I can start with Woody. So you have a few minutes to prepare. Okay. So question 3. If you could go back in time to relive one memory from your life, what would it be? You get to experience it fresh, but you cannot change it. Okay.
I've got a rules question. Are we just watching it or are we living it?
What I had in mind was living it.
Good, because that's where I was hoping we were going. It wasn't like I was watching it on a screen or something.
It's not like you're Ebenezer Scrooge and
yes,
you got the ghost of Christmas
Past. Are we going to Scrooge rules? Okay, no.
Yeah.
2 caveats: no wedding day and no birth of your kids, please.
That was the same day. So
Well, I haven't done either one. So
Both of mine happened the same day.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a very special episode.
With Hector, it's all about the kinks, as we learned in the cinema episode a few minutes ago. Okay, so Woody, what do you have?
So this one I'm going back to would be 1986. I was performing in Oklahoma, and I was Curly in Oklahoma. And I did The King and I the next year after. I didn't enjoy that as much. I would really like to go back and just do that performance again, because I'm still like in contact with most of the people that I was in that show with.
Okay.
Like they're still like high school friends of mine, or they're, and things like that. And it was just, I really liked to perform. And moving to Chicago, you don't get opportunities like that, because everybody at any casting call, there's some professional actor or singer or whatever. There isn't the hometown feel anymore. And the theater thing was really big in our hometown. So I would have really liked to go back and just do that one again, because just the rush you get from performing and that type of thing would just be awesome.
So how old were you?
I would have been 17.
Okay, so do you remember any performance that was more special than the other? Like, was it the premiere that was like...
The closing night one was always the better one. So we'd only do the show twice. You do it on Friday night and on Saturday night, and that was it.
Okay.
And so we would do a play in the fall and a musical in the spring. And luckily, my brother got into the lighting group when he was a freshman. And so then when I was actually in 8th grade, he was able to get me onto the squad just because he knew the guy who ran it really well. And it was awesome. So it was just one of the best times I can remember having. Of course, I was the lead. So of course, that's another part of it. But, and then the one regret though is there's the part where he's supposed to kiss the girl, and I chickened out both times.
Oh, you learned anything from Little Mermaid? You know, you got to kiss the girl.
It wasn't out yet, dude.
Wah wah.
Yeah, that's true.
But so that was the one where I was just kind of like, oh yeah, that would be awesome.
So did you like kiss her on the cheek or what?
No, we just did the turn the back to the audience move. So it was kind of a screen of it, but
you did fist bumps instead.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. No, that's what's the word I'm looking for? Wholesome?
Powerful memory.
Well, yeah, that too. But like, you know, it's
hashtag legendary.
There was no sex at all.
That's not what I meant by wholesome.
Oh, okay.
But no, yeah, that's cool. Very cool. Thanks, Hector. What do you have?
I think I would go back and relive the memory of in my junior year of high school. We have a town park just called Dean Park in Shrewsbury that has a stage, and it's always empty, but it's a pretty big size. I mean, it would be like the size of like 2 large family rooms, and it was always empty and no one would use it. It was always there for 4th of July. The orchestra would play, so it was really used for just holidays. I used to walk there, and I'd go and I'd walk to Dean Park, and then I remember seeing like a power box, and that just like a light bulb went over my head. I'm like, oh, we could generate power from this. I mean, if the orchestra's here, I could put on something here. I'm going to put on a concert. So I talked it over with some friends. I was in a high school band, and I had friends that were in other bands, and I was like, why don't we put on a concert? What an idea of like putting on a concert, and then we could all just like all pull in like a bunch of set lists, and we could have like our own little mini festival in the town. And all the bands, you know, no one was getting paid for all high schoolers. And I was like, sure, let's do it. You twist my arm. Come on, get up on the stage and play. Sure, for free. Sure. So I didn't think it was ever going to happen, but I reached out to the town. I went to several town hall meetings, and eventually they were just like, yeah, let's do it. We'll sign the permits. All you need to do is come up with the fee for renting the police officer for however long you're going to have it for, and you have our permission. So it's like, this is awesome. So I got the money covered for the police officer through friends and
bribes.
Yeah, we had set a date, and bribes. I put on a concert. They're like, "What are you going to call the concert?" And if this wasn't the most '90s thing you could think of, it was called it Hector Palooza.
I was going to guess that.
Oh, Jesus.
I was going to put money down on that's what you called it.
So I called it Hector Palooza, and it was there were 4 bands. Well, maybe 5 bands. Yeah, it was 5. It was 4 bands and like a solo guy, and we got a few hundred people to come out, and it kind of turned into a little Woodstock, because we didn't think we were only really just designed for like people we knew in school, But then people were like, oh yeah, free show. And like, yeah, everyone came out, and the police officer was like, you may need to get another police officer. I'm like, we don't really have the budget for that. So he's like, all right, I'll let you guys slide since it's not like an ordinance issue and we're doing it during the day. But we ran a concert for the town for probably 5.5, 6 hours.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And yeah, I got interviewed. It was in the paper, and yeah, I'm still thinking about that. And I see later down the line that some people kind of did their own, and I was like, you bunch of posers. But yeah.
And they did not call it Hector Palooza.
No credit.
You felt cheated.
Yeah. It's like it never even happened.
And let me guess, you were the headliner, right?
Yep, absolutely. Had to. We weren't even. No, that's not true. We had. I was fair because there was another band that was like very popular, and my band wasn't as popular. So I was like, well, I'll give them the headliner because they obviously they have the fan base to put on the show.
Yeah.
Right. So, which instrument did you play?
I play guitar. I played guitar since I was 9. But again, it's been so long since I've actually sat down and just...
I probably asked you the same question when we did the episode, but I couldn't remember the answer. Sorry.
Yeah, it's so infrequent, and it's sad because my daughter Sophia would love to sit with me and jam because she used to write little things in school and be like, I remember she had a classwork assignment and they asked her what did she want to learn when she grew up, and she, in her little second grade writing, she says, I want to learn to play guitar like my dad so we can play together, kind of one of those things.
Aww.
Yeah, and I have not done that. I have to make good on my word, so I will definitely teach her now that she's older.
It's not too late.
Yeah, she's 10. This is the right age. I was like, I learned when I was 9, and the reason I learned because I stole my sister's guitar. She eventually went to college and left it. And then that's when I took it. And I remember playing it and playing, of course, I'm trying to learn how to play Heartbreaker on an acoustic guitar. And then first thing that happens is I break the G string.
I remember that. Yeah.
Break the G string. And then I called her and I'm like, how do I fix this? And she's like, good luck, buddy. You're on your own. Once you fix it, you can keep playing it. So just did it myself and then just kept wailing on it. And that's how I learned how to play, is just learning how to fix it first.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool, honestly. Having your own festival in your own name.
Yeah. No self-indulgence whatsoever in putting my own name in the name of the concert.
All right. So thank you, Hector. Nick, what do you have for that one?
So it's funny because Woody's answer was going to be something very similar to what I was going to say. So do you mind if I go with 2? Because
sure.
It's going to kind of repeat a lot of what he said for his.
What the hell happened? Sorry. Before you get started, what the hell was that?
I didn't touch anything.
Happy birthday.
You just had a bunch of balloons go up in your screen.
Surprise.
I didn't do anything.
That's hilarious.
Well, I know sometimes you can do a thumbs up and it will do a thumb. That was wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't on drugs.
We're celebrating Patrick's 60th episode as we got to make sure that we celebrate. Mm-hmm. I'm passing out cake.
He's eligible for all the discounts at 60.
All right. I'm sorry. I thought I was freaking out for a second. Okay.
I saw that out of the corner of my eye and I was like, are those balloons? What? I didn't touch anything. What the fuck?
Oh my God. I don't know what happened.
And it sucks because I don't record the video, only the audio. And shit. Well, okay, so that's one thing. That's one thing that there are no witnesses.
Right.
Oh, we should have left that. Would have been the answer to question number 1.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, balloons out of nowhere. That's the answer. Fuck.
Back to our regularly scheduled.
Sorry, I gotta go check myself into a rehab hospital.
So I was going to give 2 answers for that because Woody's answer was very similar to the one I was going to give. I was into theater as a kid, and I did a lot of plays in high school, and I actually had one of the lead roles in a play called Snow Angel. And I had a lot of monologues in that play, and that's written by David Lindsay Albee, who actually would win the Pulitzer Prize for drama. A few years after he wrote Snow Angel, he wrote Rabbit Hole, and he's done a few other plays and musicals. Like he did the Shrek musical, and he did the High Fidelity musical on Broadway. I just would love to relive remembering how to deliver those monologues and learn that, because I feel like that helped gain me confidence, like as a speaker. And I feel like those were actually really valuable to me because I was kind of shy as a kid and timid, and that kind of got me out of my shell. So learning those lines again would be really beneficial. So that was my original answer. And then my, I guess, backup answer was, I guess, my thesis defense when I defended my first master's thesis. I would love to relive that and try to think I would do a better job. I mean, I would completely rewrite it if I could, but you know, life is short and it's already done. But you're nervous when you're defending your thesis. I don't know if y'all have ever did that, where you have a committee and you're in a room full of people and
there's a flex right there.
No, thanks.
I'm lucky to have gotten into college, Nick.
yes.
Goddamn biology class.
You said your first thesis. Do you have more than one?
I do, but like I can't talk about that.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Sequel?
I don't have a soundbite called flex.wave.
Right.
I wish I did.
Yes, I have 2 master's degrees, and my first one was in film and media studies, and I gave it, and I think I did fine. But if I was
Like you gave it away to the homeless?
it's like winning an Oscar. Here you go. I don't really want this. And it's just collecting dust in my living room.
Yeah, I just wish that if I went back, I probably have more confidence now, and I'm probably a better speaker and could be more eloquent with my points. But I think like when you are delivering your thesis or a defense or argument, it's very hard. It's very intimidating, and you just want to pass. That's really what you want to do. So I feel like if I could relive something, I would probably try to do a better job if I could. Although I probably did a really good job, but I'm probably like a perfectionist. I don't know.
You got the degree, right?
I do.
Oh, we're at the gym. I see flexing all over the place. Yeah, and Carl just failed. I've had enough. All right. But I don't know how old you were when you defended your first.
I was 25. Now, I think it's a maturity thing because I feel like if I was in grad school now, I would do so much better now. So for me, it's just, you know, it's like a maturity thing. And I think I would probably have given a better speech.
At that age, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but at 25, I was a spectacular dumbass and I had no idea what I was doing.
No,
so
same.
You shouldn't feel bad about like lacking confidence at 25, honestly. I mean, I'm speaking only for myself, but like, you know.
No, we'll agree. You're a dumbass at 25.
I still am. So, you know.
I mean, it's all about the Catholic guilt, Patrick. I mean, that's what it boils down to. That's why I connect so much with the Martin Scorsese movies. And he's my favorite director, probably, because it probably all stems from that. So
you can relate. That's true. Yeah, that's true. So, all right. So, thank you, Nick. So, Kyle.
I thought of something.
Okay, please.
One time, I was on a podcast, and this guy had these balloons go off. And it was crazy. I've never seen anything like that. No guilt, though. Nick, you would have loved it if you were there.
I legit thought I was losing my mind.
No, let's see. There's so many to choose from. I don't even know how you guys would choose. I mean, and that's without weddings and kids and the usual sex.
I didn't mention that, but okay.
Question 4.
No, but come on. You know what we're all thinking.
Good point.
Balloons, sex, and then whatever afterwards.
Having sex with clowns, Kyle? What's going on?
I mean, I didn't want to say that, but yeah.
With the balloons, you know, it was a flashback, massive flashback, like, you know, Vietnam Wars flashback.
Yeah, keep the big red shoes on. Yeah, that's...
Balloons, clowns, sex. Vietnam Wars. There we go.
We have the title. We have the title now for this episode.
Sounds like a David Lynch movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think I'd have to go with just going off of the time I had to think about it. Back in high school, because that's when the best times were, weren't they? Probably going down to the beach with my friends. And one year, this was the 90s, and we went down to Squamicut, down to Rhode Island Beach, because that was the closest and the most fun. And cheapest. It was only $10 to get in, I think, back then. But it was a stormy day, kind of. It wasn't your regular beachy day. And this is in the summer, too, because Rail went for somehow. But it was a really stormy day, and we got there, and it was cloudy, but the waves were huge, and it was great. And I'm going to sound like an old man. The waves were huge, and then we got our fishing poles out. No. And we just went swimming.
Was that a euphemism for something else?
We pulled down our pants and got our fishing poles out.
Sorry.
Archie blows.
Ooh, what we call a nor'easter.
Oh my God.
It was great. It just felt like one of those days when you're fighting nature and you're out in the waves and you shouldn't be there. Nobody else was there because it's too windy and too crazy, too wavy. But we're in the water and not dying. We didn't know about riptides, nothing like that at that point. And it was just great. It sounds stupid, but you felt alive because you're out there in the middle. And then you went to Taco Bell afterwards because you're too poor to get real food. And it was only 33 cents for a taco. And it's awesome. You're tired, you're happy, you're sandy. It was fun. And then a 2-hour drive back home. So we put our fishing poles away.
Well, I have a question, though.
Please.
Was the tacos, was it hard or soft?
He just couldn't get the joke out. He just couldn't get his joke out.
Did you get hard or soft tacos?
Well, it was hard before. And then after the waves.
Yeah.
And we've lost Nick.
Yeah, you never had soft tacos?
Oh my God. Wow.
By the way, Soft Taco was my band name at the Hector Palooza.
There you
go. I'm not sure why. I kind of expected some kind of some kind of super fucked up twist in your story, Kyle. I don't know why, but that's.
I don't think there was.
I know, but
did you miss the part where they were letting out their things out in the middle of the water?
The fishing poles?
Their fishing poles in the water.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You guys know we got naked, right?
A nude beach.
Story? We all got naked and swam in the ocean.
No, it must have been because of the way you told that story, and it painted a great picture, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, awesome. No joke. Do you have something for the other questions, or?
I do, and the thing that you unbelievable that you can't see or that you saw and nobody else saw.
That one was our hardest too.
I have something. This is going to be a great payoff, by the way. I saw somebody do something in their car.
There we go.
And this sounds bad again. I know. Even better, my daughter was there with me. We saw somebody do something. I can't remember. So this is going to be a great ending. Some lady did something in her car.
Oh boy, here we go.
That we both sat there and watched and just mouth open, what the hell is that woman doing? I can't remember what it is.
Go ask your daughter if she remembers.
She's not here. Oh. That's the best part. And my wife won't remember if I ask her because we told her the story. We got home. We're like, we saw this woman. She was pulling a stunt, some kind of stunt in her car,
a fishing pole.
No, she wasn't pulling.
Man, I wish I had a bag of popcorn right now. When you say a stunt, is she doing backward somersaults or is she
inside her car? That's impressive.
Yeah,
you would think. No, she pulled. When I say pull a stunt, I mean she did something so obnoxious.
Oh, okay.
Or so just
I'm picturing the album cover to Heartbeat City from the Cars, where that girl bends her legs backwards. That's a reference for 3 people. Yeah,
it was more oh my God, I can't believe somebody actually did that.
Ate a whole banana without chewing it.
Yeah. That kind of thing.
Tie a cherry stem around her tongue to a knot.
Right.
Oh, totally. No.
But it wasn't a TikTok video.
That's not weird. That's hot.
No.
Now when your daughter's there.
And you don't remember this?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot about that part.
That's the thing. It was something so weird and so just something you hear a story of somebody else talking about or a joke about. Oh, yeah, that happened.
Right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Except that they do have the ending, but you don't.
Enjoy, everybody. This is going to be a great payoff.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so mad now. But that, and then the other thing I guess I could augment it with a lesser story is when I went to Costco this past summer. And when our Costco, somehow they took a huge parking lot and they knocked down all the entrances and exits to 2. So they put one right in the beginning, which is nowhere near the entrance to the store, and one way off at the gas station, which is nowhere near the entrance to the store. So now you have to all filter in one way or the other. So I pull in my usual way. I go to park in the section I like to park in. And I'm waiting for somebody to pull out because, you wait because there's only so many parking spots at Costco. And you're waiting there, and this lady's not going because she's playing on her phone or starting her car or something goofy.
Eating a banana without chewing it.
Yeah.
If only.
Putting herself into a human pretzel.
Exactly. So I'm sitting there, and people are going by on the other side of me, on the, left-hand side, back and forth, because they got to get around you to go to other spots. So I try to angle myself, because you got to hook a big old U-turn to get into the spot, and it's tight. So I kind of jigger my car the wrong way, and the guy in back of me gets pissed off. And he pulls up next to my car, and it's the summer, so all our windows are down. And he leans out, not out his car, but he leans into the passenger side of his car and yells at me. He goes, "Hey, you're a terrible driver. I've been watching you this whole time. Just terrible." I'm like, "What? I haven't done anything. I'm sitting here waiting for a parking spot. I didn't cut anybody off."
That sounds pretty tame for Massachusetts.
Even I'm shocked.
Well, this isn't Boston, mind you. This isn't the bad side of Massachusetts. Not with those morons that drive in the breakdown lane and all that crap. No, but this guy, you would think he was from that side. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm just staring. And I don't even know. No one does this. No one does that, even in Boston. I'm just like, looking at him, I'm like, what? And he's like, oh, and he gets all frustrated and drives off ahead of me. And I'm just like, oh my God, that never happens to anybody. And I'm mad. I'm confused. I'm kind of surprised. So
Scared,
alone, crying.
The best part was, he's a little guy in a beat up car. He had a car, he'd been driving awful. He's an awful driver. I'm like, how are you yelling at me when you're driving, obviously, in something that's had an accident in the last year? So he drives off and goes parks. I finally get into my spot and park, go inside, and I see him. He's walking towards me as I'm walking in the entrance. And he's just looking at me. He says, I can't believe it. I'm just sitting here and I'm laughing at him. What?
And so you slammed your cart into him?
I wish. I mean, I'm just kind of confused and what?
Scared?
No, not scared at all.
Still, not yet.
He was not a scary guy at all. And he was just very surprising that somebody he must have been crazy. That's the only thing I could think of. If you have the balls to say that to anybody and then see him again in the store and still be upset about the way he was driving, it was just kind of surprising. So still not as good as the lady doing whatever she did story, but it's the next best thing.
Yeah, and once we get the end of that story, we'll love it. At that point, it's just
2 episodes from now, you guys are going to be blown away.
I can't wait.
He'll be bananas.
I love when it's to be continued.
Oh, nice.
To talk about a cliffhanger there over a few episodes. I forgot. Did you answer question 2? What was the longest you waited in line?
The longest I waited in line.
He said Bill Joel.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry, my brain is trying to save me from myself and forget that part. Okay.
No, that's not a good story either. I went to the mall. I waited outside Macy's early in the morning too. I got inside, got tickets. And the end. And it was weird, 2 hours, but it wasn't anything exciting. And other than that, I think we went to Disney World for a honeymoon. We didn't even wait in line for that long. For anything down there.
I'm more shocked that the maximum that you spent in line for a concert was 2 hours.
Yeah,
that's really good.
I don't see concerts a lot.
I remember waiting for Van Halen. That one took 3.5, maybe.
Wow.
Because it wrapped around the DCU.
Oh, Jesus.
Maybe. Yeah, that one was long. Huh. Or I can't remember if there was one that was around that length.
Great story.
No, wait, no. Well, you put me on the spot, goddammit. It's I did know. I was going to say Heart, but I don't remember because that was right during that Alone came out, and then it was the album. Yeah, was that album 1990?
Bad Animals?
Whatever. I don't remember. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, can you double check and get back to us
on the next episode? Right. Nick and I need something to bring back next time.
Show and tell on a podcast.
They'll have
it's a cliffhanger episode. Yeah. Very special.
Goddamn concert.
So are we talking about TV shows we watched?
No.
Is this episode or no?
No, tonight was only the questions.
I was loaded for bear on that one. Jesus.
Oh, well. I mean, if you guys don't mind, I can answer that, number 3 as well.
Please.
I got 3 kind of semi-mediocre, 2 sports related.
Any that don't have an ending that you can bring on over to?
No, they all do. They all do, I think.
All right. Okay.
One was, I know, I'm bothering all you listeners with my Berlin stuff, but when me and Steph got our visa to stay there for 1 year, I felt like, okay, awesome. We are staying here. That was such a weight off my shoulders. And it's, how can I say? It was like, okay, now we can start, trying and make friends and, start building something for the year that we will be there, And I didn't have any reason to be worried because like with a, Canadian citizenship, you just have to bring the documents you need and they're going to give you a visa. They're not going to turn you away.
What year was this?
It was 2008.
Okay.
Like if I had been like, from, I don't know, like fuck, okay.
USA. Say.
Iraq or, I don't know, like North Korea or something.
Just to name a couple of random places, sure.
Yes. They would have had a few reasons to say no, I guess.
Yeah.
But all I needed was the right paperwork and I was still super nervous. And so that was such a high. It was awesome that day. And the 2 other sports related, it was when the LA Kings won their first Stanley Cup in 2012. Because that team had been, bad for so long, and I was fully expected to never win a Stanley Cup in my lifetime. Well, not me winning a Stanley Cup, but, you know what I mean. I know it's asshole millionaires, chasing a puck. I know that. Thank you, but you
don't know who listens, Patrick. You may want to pedal back.
Good point. Maybe not everyone knows what the LA Kings are or play, but honestly, I was high for 3 days afterwards. I was walking on a cloud for 3 days. And the other one would be in 2014 when Germany won the World Cup against Argentina. And I was in a bar in Boston with a friend. He didn't care about soccer, but he still, came with me. And like Germany fans were outnumbered 5-1. Everybody had a Messi shirt, like a Messi number 10, Messi the player. And it felt so good. I didn't say anything. I just walked out with a smile on my face, but like mentally telling every single one of them, fuck you, you lost.
Wow.
That felt so good. Yes.
That's impressive.
And I know those are millionaire assholes chasing after a ball. I know. Same thing, same difference. I know. So yeah.
How did you become a Kings fan?
Because the Kings traded for Gretzky in 1989. And then the CBC started showing Kings games, Western Conference games against Edmonton and Calgary and Vancouver. So I got to see them play, to watch them play a million times. And I was like, this is such a fun team to watch because the Canadians were still good, but I was kind of over them, I think. And I was like, this is a super fun team to watch. I'm on board. And I've been on board ever since.
Okay, so you're pretty much a Gretzky fan too.
The great one.
I mean, who wasn't really, but...
Well, I mean, it was because of him, but even after he was traded to St. Louis, I still stayed with the Kings.
Wow, okay.
So,
interesting.
And somehow they won another Stanley Cup in 2014. And I've been loyal ever since.
Nice.
I know millionaire assholes chasing after a buck. I know, no need to remind me.
But that's what I try to explain to my wife, and people who don't watch sports. It's like, it's the only unscripted thing we really have in our life. We don't really know the outcome of what it's going to be.
I don't know. That Super Bowl? I don't know.
No. Yeah, that was written. Yeah, we know that one was written.
That was written.
But just that thrill too, because the same thing when the 2005 White Sox won, they hadn't won in 100 years.
That's true.
And that was awesome. So I'm totally with you with those.
I guess there's been, million books written about this, but it's so stupid to have such an emotional connection to laundry.
Mm-hmm.
I think Seinfeld said that.
Yep.
And it's true.
But it's not just laundry. It's all the players too.
Some of them turn out to be really cool people as well. That's true.
Yeah. And them playing together, them coming together and doing better than, as bad as teams are in whatever league you watch, there's still teams that are in that league and they're going to play their hardest. They're going to beat teams that are really good, even though it's an off night or whatever. And you're going to see something that you've never seen before. And that kind of thing is special for that 1 minute, that 10 minute, the 2 hours you're watching that game. And that's enough to leave an imprint on you.
That's true.
So if it's something that you really like, that's not bad.
That's true.
Like when I was watching the Yankees in 2001 and they won their fourth World Series, I was like, Jesus Christ, can we please just win one more? That's all I'm asking. And no.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
All right. And also what you mentioned, it reminds me, I was considering adding that as a quickie question, and I might, fuck it. This is Chaos Night. I'll ask it right away. Have you guys ever played pickup game of some sort with a pro or a former pro or someone who got at a very high level in their sport? Because, I'll give you a few seconds to think about it, because
okay.
I've heard some stories that guys playing in a beer league and some guy who played in the AHL, for example, never made it to the NHL, and he was 20 years older than all of them, and he still skated circles around them. The gap in level is absolutely insane, and I think most people don't realize that.
I don't think most people experience that.
Yeah, also true.
Yeah. I mean, especially this group.
I don't have a good example. On our sports radio station here, they call it brushes with greatness. And people will call in.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And that's exactly the whole part is about that. But I've never had one.
Okay.
I'll say this, and this is as close as any sports related is going to get. This is 100 times removed. I was in Boston at a bar that was putting on an event, and I had no idea what the event was, but I know it was
the 2014 World Cup final.
Oh my god!
And I was there.
That was it.
You saw Patrick Dupuis.
It was, but then when I got in there, it turned out to be a beer pong competition.
Oh.
And I was already half in the bag.
So you were a pro.
So my buddy puts my name in without my permission, and next thing they call my name and say, "Oh, you're up to play beer pong." I said, "I'm not playing a fucking beer pong." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, you got to get up there. You're up next with the cast of Super Troopers."
Oh, shit.
I've heard about this.
They were promoting the movie Beer Fest, and it was their premiere in Boston. And so I came up to the, whatever you call it, the table, and started just flinging balls. And I had them down to the last guy. It was like 2 cups. And I lost on a technicality because I had double dribbled the ball when I weren't supposed to. You were supposed to send it right over the net. Yeah, traveling. And I lost the game. But there is a picture of me and my buddy, and the guy, his name's Eric Stolhansky. He's the one that played Rabbit in Super Troopers. So that's the extent of my sports, and then bumping into someone of celebrity status in a sports area. But again, that's as close as it gets.
That's so cool.
Did you drink a bottle of maple syrup to celebrate?
Or beer out of the boot?
Yes.
When you post the link to this one, I'll attach the picture as a comment to you.
Oh, yes, please.
Now you got to leave it in.
Yeah,
can't cut that out.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my questions.
Cool.
It was a chaos night. I did not expect that. That's absolutely not a problem. And you can call it a happy accident, I guess, or something like that.
There you go.
Happy ending.
Yep, with our fishing poles out. Yeah, absolutely.
I had to. All right. So, guys, where can we reach you online, Woody?
You can find me on Instagram at The Wooden Chef.
Thank you. Hector, what about you?
I'm still on Twitter infrequently. I'm starting to get the hand of this Threads thing. I just got Threads. I have no idea what I'm doing. So you must see me there. Instagram.
And what's your handle? Actually, I don't think you mentioned it.
Yeah, that's important. At Classic Hexagon on Twitter. And then I think the same on like Instagram and Threads or whatever it's called.
Yeah, if you had it on Instagram, it's the same on Threads.
Yep.
That's true. All right. Thank you. Kyle, what about you?
You can find me on Instagram at Overkill Art, OVERKYLART.
Awesome.
No X, no Twitter, nothing like that.
Thank you. And thank you for dropping by on such short notice.
Oh, please. Thank you for the invite. This is great.
All right. Thank you. Nick, what about you?
You can find me at Rockin' Retropod on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. So yeah, check me out there. And then I also started another podcast with one of my friends. It's a movie podcast. So it's Needle Drops. So check us out on any of those platforms as well.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, listeners. And we will catch you on the next one. Thanks.